Good morning, everybody. This is Stacy Turner. Welcome to our DMO Pro. I am excited to be here and share some information with you. Just kind of wanting to talk about how do we do business in everyday life? Like, how do we weave business into what we're already doing, what we're about? And I'm going to use this weekend as an example for you guys of being able to be busy doing a lot of other things but still able to be intentional about our business. And I think it's because I am about Juice Plus, right? Like, this is my career, this is my business, this is my income. I know that it's something that's important to me, but it still takes being intentional about making things happen when we're busy with life. And whether that means at times when I had little ones at home with me and my time was very limited of how I could, when I could do my Juice Plus business, or other times, like this was a sort of a work trip or continued education trip that I went to Arizona. Just the busyness of what we're doing. Some of you are working full time, or maybe you're working part time. I've heard people say, I actually had more time when I was working full time because I was super intentional about the time I put into Juice Plus. And, with our business, nobody makes us work. I don't have to turn in hours to somebody. There's nobody I'm answering to other than myself. And so just as easy as it is to, make time, somehow I think it's easier not to make time, right? We think, okay, I'll do that later. I'll come back to that. Now's not the perfect time. I'm busy with this or whatever. And we can fill up our schedules and be so busy that we're just not paying attention and we let opportunities go. And especially if you're not about Juice Plus, if Juice Plus is, or your, network marketing business is just something you kind of do on the side. And I hear people say, if I find people to talk to, great. If not, it's not a big deal. It's fine. It's okay. If they say yes. And because they're in that mentality, they're not looking for the opportunities, right? Like they're there, you're just not seeing it because you're not super in tune to it. So I wanted to give you some examples of some conversations that I had this week, and this weekend while I was in Arizona. First of all, I got to be with some of the most amazing people. Some of them are on here with us today. We had a great time. So I was going to Arizona for continued education on the trauma resolution therapy work that I've been learning. It was great. I learned a lot, and it's a lot of work. It's like just takes a lot of brain power to learn that information, and we're practicing it. So I knew that was going to be a lot, that it was going to be quite a bit that I was learning. But I still was like, I'm not coming here just for nothing. Like, I'm going to make the most of the trip. And so I had mentioned it to one of you on this Zoom, and then you guys were like, hey, if you're coming to Phoenix, we'd love to have you. So think about that. Where are you going to be going? If you're traveling somewhere, is there local team there that you can connect with? And wherever you're going on vacation, make an event there. And you may have somebody that is just a friend in that area that you could ask if they would be willing to host an event, and then you would be marketing through their network, right? That's what network marketing is. And so I remember just a couple months into my business, I was flying home to see my sister, so I asked her if she would be willing to host an event, and then I helped her, I learned how to invite. And so then I taught her how to invite, and we talked through who we would like to include in that event. And it was actually the first event that I had ever done. So I was 2 months into the business, but I knew more at 2 months than she did or any of her guests, right? If you've been in Juice Plus for 5 minutes, you know more than somebody who knows nothing about Juice Plus. And so just, be brave with that and just say you're going to do an event. When you are the one that's doing the event, you're going to learn it because you don't want to like not know the information, right? So it makes you dive in and really know. And it's way easier to do events. You're not having to memorize a, long script. There's some simple, slides that you can walk through. If you guys don't have those, or if you haven't heard me talk about them, it's just a one simple change presentation that you can do on your phone. Just slide through. I'll put the link into that event for you guys. Again, you can save them into your phone, or into boards, so that you have them. You could do that anywhere with anyone at any time, in a group, one-on-one, at any point, you need to have the tool to be able to do a presentation if it comes to that. So if you're not doing your own events, I say this a gazillion times, and I really mean it. If you are not doing your own events, if you are not presenting Juice Plus, you will not be able to grow a business. It's going to be limited. It's going to be very limited because you're limiting yourself. The teacher is the one that learns the most. And when you're the one presenting, people are looking, to you as somebody who has experience or has knowledge or has even some level of expertise more than they do. It just moves things forward. You're really holding yourself back by not doing your own presentations and just tapping into your upline doing them for you. You will invite better to them. You'll be more intentional about getting people there. You'll learn how to do the invitation better, and you're going to do not so great sometimes, and the invitation's not so great, and the presentation's not so great, but you just have to do it to learn it. Like, there's no other way. We can't do it for you enough times to where you know how to do a presentation. You know it from doing it. It's just the way it is. So we can give you all the tools and resources, but if you don't just do it, it just doesn't help. So same thing when I said, hey, I'm coming to Arizona. I would love to do an event for you guys. Who's the team there? Who are the leaders there? And, how can I help serve that area? I didn't have team there, but I know one team, one mission. We all work together. I learn from you guys. I'm encouraged and infused by your excitement and your desire to learn. And so I offered, I'll come do some training for you guys. And in the past, like I said, I didn't have experience. I was new in the business, but I was going to an area. So I said, I will do a presentation where I'm going. So think about that. When you go on vacation somewhere, are there other people in the area that are doing Juice Plus that you can connect with? And maybe it's you take something from one of these trainings we've learned, take notes on it, and then transfer that into a training for that team. I guarantee you, if someone came into my area and said, hey, Stacy, I'm coming in, I'm with Juice Plus, I would love to meet you and meet with some of your team. I have some encouragement I'd like to share with them. I would say, yes, like for sure, let's do it. Or to do an event and have them share their story at an event. I mean, even if it's just that, guys, like, that's how we work with other sideline teams as well. And if there's nobody in that area to do an event for with Juice Plus, do you have a friend or a connection there that you could ask them if they would be willing to host an event for you? Then you again help them learn how to invite and make sure that the room is full of people, right? Or at least 5 people are there. So be intentional about where you're going. Think about where you're going to be this summer on vacation. If you're going to go visit family somewhere, be about Juice Plus, be about your business. You don't have to be annoying about it, but be intentional. Find somebody there that would be willing to host an event for you and do the presentation for their friends and family, especially like your customers even. Do you have a customer in that area? Can you be intentional about that? Okay, so that was the first one, is if you're traveling, do you know contacts in that area that you could connect with and do some sort of event? So that just keeps it forefront in your mind. Plus, it becomes a business expense, right? It's a business trip. Now you can write off plane tickets if you went there. You can write off food or lodging while you're there because you were doing an event there. You were part of your business. You're working. If you guys aren't doing that, you're missing out on a lot of great benefits to having a small business or to having your own home-based business or your own business. There's lots of tax benefits to that. So make sure you save your receipts on that. Okay, second thing I did is I took a sourdough starter with me. I know I was going to give it to my mother-in-law. I had no idea if we would be able to fit anything in, but she had been liking my my posts, and so I thought, okay, I think she would probably like to learn. At some point, I'll fit that in, and I'll just put that, even if it's just one-on-one. So I was intentional about taking a mother and a start in the instructions and all things for her so she would be able to learn how to do sourdough. And I just didn't even know how that would fit in, but I took it with me anyway. So we're going to come back to that. The second one was there were other people that were taking the class with me. And so Jarrett and I drove And so it would have been very easy. I didn't have a car. He had the truck with him, but it would have been very easy to say, okay, lunch is this time to this time. Come pick me up and we'll go do lunch, right? For Jarrett and I, that's what would be comfortable, that I would do lunch with my husband versus the people that I don't really know, right? So and if you guys know me, that's not necessarily true. I like people. I want to do lunch with somebody else that I don't really know. But if maybe that's you, that you're just not as sure, you would say, oh, my husband's in town. I'll just let him come pick me up and we'll do lunch together. But I was intentional about not doing that. So I texted Jarrett and I said, hey, we're going to go to lunch. The other girl had a car and she offered to take me to lunch. And I was like, yes. Why? Why would I do that? One is because I wanted to discuss what we were learning. We can process it together. And two, I was going to get to know her. I would be able to ask questions and find out what her need was, and then offer Juice Plus as a possible solution. And that's exactly what happened. It was a very natural conversation. She at one point asks me, so what is it that you do with nutrition? She knew that somehow. And so then I talked to her and she was like, oh yeah, that would be great. My kids are picky eaters, yada, yada. I didn't have to go into a ton. I shared our story, connected it back to some of the things that she shared with me. And then I asked her if I could send her some videos, and she said yes. So I sent her my boards page that has the videos and my links already built into it. So that was at lunch. And then the next day we had lunch again. Same thing. I could have just said, hey, Jarrett, come pick me up. But I wanted some more time with her. I enjoyed her company anyway. Her name was Stacy. We had a lot of fun with that. So it was just a good time. So asking questions to find the need, be intentional to find quality one-on-one time with people that you can get to know and serve. So second thing is that third thing, I guess, I was listening to Voxer and replying to messages, as we were traveling back and forth from the training to the hotel. Actually, we stayed at Michelle Swift's house. It was gorgeous. It was amazing stay. We just really made great friends with her. So if you're watching this, Michelle, you guys are excellent hosts. We loved Billy's cooking and just every minute with them. Loved making new friends. And again, we didn't even know each other. Michelle and I did not know each other other than having met at conference briefly sometime, but really got to know their family and just enjoyed every minute of that. So that's another thing. You get deeper connections with Juice Plus people, and your friendships just really build and deepen. So listening to Voxer, I was answering questions from team. I was checking on messages on Facebook. I actually got a lead customer. I saw that I had a lead customer from Juice Plus. And so I called her about her order, was able to connect with her. A prospect had reached out and said, hey, she was ready to order Juice Plus. So I was able to send her the link to the carts. And then I saw that I had another order from a guy that I had been talking to, and I thought they had decided not to order at all. And he sent me a picture of all their Juice Plus. I didn't even know he placed the order. So that's fun, right? That's like the beauty of our business, is you do activity with, not necessarily seeing the results right away, but as you live your life and keep going, those things come to go, because all activity is always going to get results. It's always going to get results. So no activity is always going to get no results. Activity is always going to get results in our business. So just trust that. And you do the activity, not sure when you're going to see the fruition or the end result of that. But that was just some examples, that messages that were coming in. So I was still connected to team, but it wasn't like, wasn't overwhelming. You can just listen to Voxer. I was keeping up with what was going on. And, that was kind of just during our drive back and forth where we were going. All right. So then my mother-in-law was interested in sourdough. She said, I was going to ask you to bring it, but I didn't know if we would have time. And so we worked out a time. It was going to be Friday evening when we were finished with the classes. And then I said, do you think your son-in-law would like to come? And she said, yes, I think him and his wife would like to come. So they came over and I did a sourdough class for them on Friday. I mean, this is after 3 days of intense work. My brain was probably I could have easily said, No, it's just too much. I have had all this, stuff going through my mind, but I was like, no way. I know that this guy had been on Juice Plus at one point, but I didn't know his wife. So I did a sourdough class. And of course, I'm going to do the Juice Plus part. I am not going to teach a sourdough class without sharing the gut benefits of plant powders and bringing it in Juice Plus full circle. It was just as strong of a Juice Plus event as it was a sourdough event. A sourdough was just the open door to the conversation. And she was very interested and talked about it for one of her kids. And so I sent her the link to my page to learn more. Okay. So that was another prospect that I got from that. So then that was, and then like I said, I had done the event for the team there locally, just the business training and getting to know everyone that way, which was lovely. So those were some of the conversations. Last one I want to share with you, as we went to breakfast on our way back home, and the waitress, I just liked her. She was on top of it. She was just connective, but I don't know, I just had like rapport instantly with her, and she was busy, but she was very accurate, and I just really liked her from the second that we met. And so after everything was done, we were finished, we had paid, she was, taking our information, payment information. I said, are you from this area? And she said, no, they had moved here 6 years ago. She kind of told me a little bit about herself and her husband. She said she was a real estate agent. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. A real estate agent, that was working as a waitress. And I thought, like, her people skills are really good. That's interesting that she's waitressing. Like, maybe it's just, easy money for her because she is connective. And maybe she just likes that, but that's kind of her fallback, that how she makes extra income. And so I just thought, okay, that's interesting. And she, like I said, just had good people skills. And so I just said, I help busy families simplify their nutrition. So I think she said something about being a real estate agent and like she's busy with that. I don't remember something. So something she said, I just said, well, I help busy families simplify their nutrition. And she was like, oh, really? What does that look like? So I said, have you ever heard of Juice Plus before? And she said, no. So I briefly told her fruits and veggies in a capsule. And she said, oh, that would be really good. My daughter that's 7 is super picky. So we just talked a few seconds. I mean, she's a waitress. Like, I'm not going to take her time. I'm not going to present Juice Plus, right? Like, I'm going to be relationally wise about this, and I'm going to be emotionally intelligent enough to know it's not about me at this moment. This is her job. I just had a brief moment to talk to her, and she said, hey, do you have a card? If I had a card in my purse, it would have been very easy to pull that out and give that to her. And that would have been the end of the conversation. I would never hear from her again. So if you're going to have cards, you keep those like locked in the glove compartment. That's the last option to give somebody information. I just kind of looked to my purse and I said, oh, I don't have one, but can I just text you a couple videos to watch? And she was like, yeah, that'd be great. So now I have her phone number, right? All 3 of the people that I've talked to now, I have their information. It's in my court. It's my job now to follow back up with them. And so I sent her the same link and I just said, hey, it's going to be, I can't wait to hear what you think about it. I'll check back with you in a couple days. And at the end of her workday, she actually texted me back and said, I'm really looking forward to watching these. And we were just talking a little bit. So I wanted to read to you what was the message that I sent her when I sent the videos. So let me just find that. No, it wasn't that one. I wanted to kind of give you, like, how do you be relational in that conversation? And I also remembered her name. So when she came up and introduced herself, I remembered what her name was. And then I addressed her by her name in the conversation later on. And then, of course, when we talk. So I said, hey, Min, it's Stacy from Snooze AM. That's where she worked, that restaurant, from Saturday morning. Here's the Juice Plus info we chatted about for you and your daughter. I totally connect with you on the frustration of picky eaters. It's what drew me to this 21 years ago when I was frustrated that our little guy's limited appreciation for anything green. Check out the section that talks about healthy starts. That's the free option for your daughter. And then later on, she wrote back, "Thanks, Stacy. I just got home. I'll look it over the weekend. Enjoy your stay in Phoenix." So then I just kept the conversation going, saying, "Sadly, we were leaving. We really liked it. We even found a house on Zillow just when we were looking." And she said, "Let me know when you're ready to move here and I'll help you out. Don't forget, I've got a great team of amazing realtors behind me. Safe travels." And then, we just said a couple more things. So again, make it conversational, like you're talking to a friend, right? Like I wasn't weird about it. I didn't talk to her about this business opportunity. Like, it's not time for that yet. I'm going to be, socially aware, emotionally aware of myself and of her and of her time, and just be respectful of that conversation so that it flowed well and it wasn't awkward. And Jarrett said, "That was really good." And he said, "You brought that into that conversation really smoothly." And I said, "Yeah, that's taken some time, right?" Now, honestly, there's other times where it's just kind of awkward bringing it in, but that was practice for me, and she received the information well. She could have just as easily dismissed it and walked away. And that sometimes happens. So then I have an option in my head to say, "Well, never do that again. I'm never going to talk to a waitress again." Or I can say, "That was great practice," right? Like, it just didn't work out. I mean, the chances are very slim that this will follow through to something, but she did respond. So that's a plus. Like, honestly, often that never happens either. But it's okay. You just have the conversations anyway. You do the activity, trusting the results. All of the little conversations that don't feel like work, that is the work, right? It's just, are we doing enough of them? Are we being consistent enough with the conversations and the information we're putting out there that eventually we will get results from that, and just trusting that process. So same thing on the drive home. I was able to answer some questions, get some stuff written down in my DMO. Like, I want to make sure I've got, that written down. So I've got those to go back to, those conversations to follow up with, and just keep moving things forward. So I hope that is a little bit helpful for you guys to see, like, what practically, how does that look in bringing Juice Plus into weaving it into, I would say, everyday life, but that kind of wasn't everyday life. That was a little bit different, that we were traveling, but you guys travel, you go on the road and you meet waitresses or different people in your life. But how do we be intentional about that? So I would love to hear from you guys. Do you have any stories or experiences where you were able to just bring conversation into a situation that you wouldn't have known them otherwise, and kind of like how that played out, or just anything that you guys want to add to that, or questions, either one. And remember, you guys are muted, so you have to unmute yourself.
So I have and first of all, I'm grateful that I was one of the lucky people that got to see you last week in person. So it was so much fun to have you here. We learned a lot. But one in particular, and randomly conversations happen, like you said, some of them don't go anywhere, and you text and follow up and nothing. But there was one in particular that was a lady in Sprouts that was literally holding like 10 vitamin bottles, and she looked so confused. And I don't even remember the conversation because she's been a customer now for at least 4 years, but I just said, "I think I know a simpler solution for you." And that's all I said. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, tell me, what is it?" I'm so lost. And I just shared a little bit with her. And she's like, was a cleaning lady. She's in her 70s, but she was having arthritis issues, and just starting her on the Trio. And she was grateful because it made all the difference in the world already for her hands. So, and she's still a customer today. So it was just random standing in the grocery line at Sprouts.
So tell us that line again, Michelle. What did you say to her? I
think all I said was, I was super bold, which that was like what was in my head. I think that was my word for the year. I just said, "I have a better solution." and and she says, "Tell me, what do you have?" And I said, "Well, I have something that's literally put fruits and vegetables in a capsule." And then kind of went from there and sent her some information.
Yeah. When they're ready, they're ready.
Right.
When they're open, look for the need, right? You saw the need in what she had. That was excellent. Anyone else want to share?
Stacy, about the business card, and it's so funny because Nikki has taught us that not to hand somebody a business card. I always hand them my phone, and then I always do a screenshot because sometimes it gets lost in your contacts, right? So I can go back, and then I make sure how I talk about them. You know, they have 2 kids and I met them this place and she's active, or so when I go back to talk to her, she, you know, it seems more personal. And I think that is just brilliant. And I also put it in as a prospect. I'm trying to think of where it is that you want to add that. It's under the company name, because that way, when all of a sudden I've got some downtime and I want to, you know, run through some prospects, I pull up prospects and everybody comes up that I've talked to and maybe have let fall through the cracks on follow-up.
Yes. Take notes in your phone because you think you'll remember, you're not going to remember. Same thing if you're doing a trade show, you want to get as much information about them and write it down somewhere, each of those contacts you've had. Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Patty.
I like that, Patty. That was good. I like that. I like that about not saying, oh, I don't have my business card with me. Can I send you something? I like that. That was really good. A simple solution to nutrition. That was great too. I love that. And you know, the other thing that I have recently done is I'm going back to people that I talked to 5 years ago that I met at a health event, and just calling them and asking them, how are you doing? What's going on in your life? And then when they come up with something that maybe we could help with, which was that happened in that conversation, she said, I had bronchitis for a month now and I just can't shake it. And I share my story and she's already on it. She's on Juice Plus. She's talking about it. So she'll be a partner.
That's awesome, Ellie. So I like that you didn't just, get back into that conversation and say, hey, you used to take Juice Plus. Would you like to get started on it again? You just stepped back into her life, right?
Right. I did. I stepped back into her life and she was really glad. We were friends on Facebook. We liked each other's Facebook pages and all that stuff going on, but we haven't talked on the phone in about 5 years. And so it was just great just to reach out to her, just to say, how are you doing?
Ellie, did you text her first and ask, or say anything like, I'd like to chat with you?
I did. I did. I said, I've been thinking about you, lifting you up in prayer. I would love to catch up.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, think about that. If somebody reaches out to you and says they're thinking about you, you're like, you're thinking about me? You want to hear anything about me? I mean, it's just not very many people step into other people's life, right? So
that's true.
Great job, Ellie.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to share? All right, I guess that's it. So
quickly say, Patty, I liked what you did because I usually put the date in, and I've handed a lot of people my phone and said, hey, you have younger eyes than me because I don't usually have my glasses on, like if I'm skiing or something or I'm at the gym. And so they usually put the name in. One thing that I've really started doing that's been helpful is within 24 hours, I try that night to go back and text them. Like this girl, we were on the lift and usually I'm the one asking all the questions, and she started asking all these questions about Italy. And then she said, hey, I'm asking all these questions because I'd like to do a family trip, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I'm okay with that. So anyway, I gave her the information and we kind of been going back and forth. But so for me, I'm kind of like Patty, if I don't get them that within 24 hours, like I had one last night that I must have missed. And I'm like, oh my God, I have no idea if I was going to send her a Tower Garden picture. So I just kind of reached out. So that is helpful. The other thing I would say for me is I'm still working on reining in myself of not getting too deep too quick, because that's my husband will go, babe, you got to slow down. You got to stop. So he's kind of my helper. He reins me in if I'm talking too fast or whatever, because I have that tendency. I'm getting better, but still not perfect. So that's kind of a good thing anyway. And so Patty, that was helpful too.
That's really good, Lisa. And remember, we don't want to present Juice Plus unless they're coming for an event or I'm hosting the event, then I'm presenting Juice Plus. But in conversations, I'm not presenting Juice Plus. If I feel like I'm trying to convince them or I'm presenting Juice Plus to them, I recognize that and like rein myself back in, like you're saying, hold on, Nelly, like let's just calm down here because we want to tell them everything, right? So my job is not to present Juice Plus to them or to convince them. It's to get them to watch a video. That's my job. That's what the company pays you to do. The company pays you to get eyes on the presentation. And I'm not the presentation unless I'm the presenter and it's for that, right? Because I just told you guys at the beginning, learn how to do presentations. But I mean, like you host an event and you do the presentation, then you are the presenter. But otherwise, in conversation, I'm not presenting Juice Plus. I am listening for the need and I'm getting them to want to watch the video. I'm piquing the interest. The information is on the video. It's not in me. And then that's duplicatable, right? Because they don't feel like they have to be able to spout off all the information about Juice Plus when they first talk to somebody else. So we're not presenting. We are simply piquing their interest, asking questions, find the need, and connect them to a resource. Okay, so keeping it simple that way might be helpful too in starting those conversations so you don't feel hesitant because like, what if they have a lot of questions? What if they do have questions? You just say, great question. I'm not really sure about that. I want to make sure you get the best answer. Let me connect you with my friend who's been doing this a little bit longer than I have. And then you just take them to that person. So that's where a three-way connection comes in. Okay, 2 people have raised their hands. So go ahead. I think Ellie and I'm not sure who the other is.
Lisa,
Lisa.
you
Maybe.
want to go first, Lisa? That's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Ellie looks like she will. I don't know. Yeah, quickly, I just have a question. So I actually have been working with a woman and I don't even know how she was saying her doctor doesn't want her to lose any more weight, this and that, but she eats really healthy. She eats the Mediterranean diet. So anyway, she was asking about the bars and she doesn't like I don't know, she said smooth foods. So it threw me off a little bit with the smoothies. So anyway, she'd seen the bars. I'm not sure what I sent her, but anyway, long story short, I said, well, I can bring you one. I don't have any chocolate right now, but I could order some. And then I had made some energy balls that I could bring. She goes, oh, that's so sweet of you, but I don't want you to go out of your way, blah, blah, blah. And so I haven't messaged her back. I just got that last night. And so my thought was, but I'd love to hear yours, is it's not going out of my way. That's what I love to do, is help people, service people. But I just want to hear another point of view. How's that?
I think that's perfect. Just say, no, I would love to bring this to you. It's not out of my way. It's what I do, and I'm happy to bring that to you. Or invite her to coffee. Like, if I think I might be more apt to invite her one-on-one to coffee or lunch because you'll have more time to dig into the conversation and you could bring the bars and you could bring her the like the protein balls, and then you're going to have a chance to get to know her. If you just drop by, you're hoping that that's a good time for her to talk, but you might not have as much time. So either just say, yeah, I'm going to run it by, and then with the intent of meeting with her one-on-one. If you're local, I love one-on-one. I can get so much more accomplished in that than back and forth and texting.
When you do that, this is just a little deeper. Do you usually, so I know her, she came up to me and said, do you remember me? I know you, blah, blah, blah. And she gave me a ride down to my vehicle. So that's how we kind of got reconnected. But I'm wondering, when you do that, do you set like a time limit? Hey, I have 30 minutes or this much when you go out for coffee or whatever?
I mean, if you have only, I would say 30 minutes isn't very long.
Okay.
So I'm not going to limit it on my end unless I have to, but I'm really getting to know them. So I would pick a time that I don't have something else right after, or I would buffer in enough time to create the space for the conversation and the connection to flow.
And is there any other suggestions anybody has on the weight thing, because she's like, I weigh, I don't even remember how tall, 5'3", and I weigh 108, but my doctor doesn't want me to keep losing weight. Do you have any other thoughts on that? How to work in like the capsules or whatever?
So she's thinking Juice Plus is somehow a weight loss. I would just kind of steer away around that and say this is nutritional support for your body. Whatever she's dealing with right now, she's seeing doctors and stuff. This is extra support for all of your body, for all of these organ systems. Sounds like you're dealing with a lot. Nutrition is, paramount to your body functioning as it should and as we want it to. Even though you're eating a lot of produce, how much variety are you getting? How fresh is the produce? This is just an extra layer of support. That's how I would say it. Would anyone else add something different?
I like that. That sounds good.
Okay, Ellie, tell us what you got.
Okay, videos. What kind of videos? Can you share those in the box or what videos you're kind of sending out? Just in
Yes.
general?
So I'm sending, I send a boards page. So it's the Bridge the Gap, the 12-minute video, and then the 4-minute video from Janet Roberto on the complete. Those are the 4 that I send out. I think those are meaty enough that they get some information. It's still like 15, 16-minute total of the videos. I don't want to send the other ones. Personally, I'm not as crazy about the shorter ones because it's like a commercial. I was already the commercial. I want them to learn something. So I like the 12-minute Bridge the Gap video. So I just find there's less questions that they have when we talk again. They seem to connect more with that. So that's built into a page on boards that I send to them. And I've given you guys access to that, all of those, but I'll post them one more time into the Voxer chat where you can copy and paste, make your own page because it has your own links in there, or you're going to want to put your own links in there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Let me stop recording here. Where is that button? I don't know. All right. Well, oh, there it is. Okay.